Hey folks, welcome back to the Portable Gamer. Welcome back to Train Sim World 2020, and welcome to the Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr Duisburg-Bochum Route Add-on DLC. My goodness, that is a mouthful. Like always, I don't know what they're doing with these names. They got to trim those down a little bit. Let's get started here. We lost some time there reading that. We are in a DB BR425, but there's a mistake in the scenario. It says that we're going to run this in a 422. It's really a 425, which is one of the two new locos included in this DLC. I think that's everything. All right, yeah, we need to pull right up to the platform up there and load up our first passengers of the day. Yeah, this came out a couple weeks ago. I haven't gotten around to doing a video for it until now. We'll talk about why as we get rolling here. And it comes with the route. It comes with two locos, and what I'm noticing is a lot of the German routes, there's a tremendous amount of overlap between the locos that come with the route, the locos that are in other DLC. So I believe because these all represent, I guess, kind of a unified rail system. The German rail system it's national. Is it not privatized? I don't know. But it's the same. It's the same from one side to another versus the U.S., where you've got a lot of different railroads running a lot of different kinds of equipment. So there's tremendous overlap in the equipment, which I don't mind that. It doesn't bother me. And it's nice to be able to use different trains on different routes. Sorry, got to concentrate as we get in here. So no, I'm okay with that. So it just comes with two new locos, but you can use probably 4, 5, 6 other freight locos on this same route. And I'll show you the route itself after we get rolling. Trying to get in here on time. We've got till, yeah. We've got till 5:47. We're about 30 seconds late, and it is tough to stick to these timetables. I'll tell you what, but I like that though. And I found something. I found something to make this sim even more challenging. And I'll tell you about that as well. Right. Doors open. Here we go. While we're loading up, let's go ahead and hop out and take a look at this thing from the outside. We just got to remember to get back in. So yeah, it's a pretty standard German electric loco. This is I believe a 2-set, and I think you can run up to a 3-set, and then in the other, hang on, let's get back in here quickly. In the other train set that comes with this DLC, I believe it's the same. You can go 2-set or a 3-set. Doors are closed. Here we go. All right, we're rolling. So something that I've been doing in other German routes, I can't do it in this scenario. I believe it's deactivated for this scenario, or it's just broken. But I've been using the AFB on freight locos. I've been using, carefully, I've been using SIFA, and I've been using the PZB. They're very cool features, and they're very tricky to learn. I think, as with a lot of things in Train Sim World, I think they may be broken, and that certainly adds to the challenge and the frustration, because you don't know if you're doing it wrong or if it's broken. But briefly, PZB is the automatic train speed control system, including automatic emergency stops, and the, hang on, and then we go back, give it, there it is. I know we're over speed right now, but it'll bounce back up in a second. There it goes. SIFA is the alerter, and then AFB is essentially a cruise control type feature. So I've been using those a lot, and man, it really changes the way that you drive these routes. Like right now, we don't have any of those systems activated, and we're being really, not reckless, but we're being very aggressive with the speed limits and keeping our speed right at the limit, and in a lot of cases going probably faster than we should, which amazingly is still not fast enough to be on time, but hey, what can you do? But with the, particularly with the PZB system activated, when you're using that, it makes it, you absolutely cannot take your eyes off the route. You have to watch every sign that goes by. I never thought that I would learn these signs. I know there are people that play Train Sim World with no HUD. They use this look right here, and they get all their information from the trackside signage and just from their own knowledge and awareness of the routes. I am not even close to being able to do that yet, but I find I'm being forced to, in a good way, forced to learn about German railroad signage and what the codes are and what they all mean, and I'm really enjoying that. So we're not using any of that right now, but I will do another video at some point where we do some of those things, and I'll try to, in my own sort of rudimentary way, I'll try to explain to you what I'm learning about German signage. And then at some point I'd like to extend that out to also include UK and US and Canada. So we got another stop here, and I'm going to try to time this. We want to be in at 5:52. We have 30 seconds to go about a mile. Not likely. Not likely, but we'll do our best. And what else is going on? This DLC in general, I almost didn't get it out of like protest. And you know, as you get into the forums, as you get into Reddit for Train Sim World, you see this theme over and over, which is that these DLC are just being slammed out 1 or 2 per month. They're very often broken from the jump. They have things missing. They have inaccuracies. They have they're really not very good. And that goes back to something that I read, internet rumor. I have no idea how accurate this is, but it certainly fits. An internet rumor that the folks that sort of bought or took over Dovetail and Train Sim World did so with the intention of never really working on the game itself and just cranking out DLC for money. And when you see, hang on, let's get stopped here. Not bad, not bad. All right, I'll take it. Where are we on time? Just about. Still 30 seconds behind, but that's not terrible. There is a thread you can find yourself, I believe, on the Dovetail forums, where the developers say, you know, there are some things that we know need fixing. There are things that are broken in DLC, the Rapid Transit DLC, and we'll get to them at some point. Maybe not soon. And one of the comments is, when will I buy another DLC for Train Sim World? Maybe sometime. Not soon. So it's a new model that we've evolved into as consumers and as gamers, where developers release things that are broken. Maybe they get fixed, maybe they don't. And the only thing that we can do is not buy content for games that we really like. And I think about this, and I've talked about it in a number of videos. I know there are people that this is the only game that they play. This is the only sim that they play. I spread my interest around over trains, farms, trucks, racing, flight, mill sim. I really like to play a lot of different kinds of games. Other people don't do that. And so for them, their fix, what they do when they sit down to game, is they play Train Sim World. And so when a new DLC comes out, we always all have that choice. We don't have to buy it if we don't want to. But for some people, that's a different kind of choice. I mean, for me, I can wait on a DLC like this, not a big deal. But for someone who is, I don't want to say that a single game or a single title is like their whole world. That overstates it, but you know what I mean. For some people, that's if it's part of their game, they're really into it and they're going to buy it. And I feel like, as easy as it is to say, just vote with your wallet, just vote with your pocketbook. If you don't like the DLC they're releasing, don't buy it, and eventually they'll get the message. I think, unfortunately, there are enough people that will buy it. Hang on, let me get stopped here. Try to hit it right on the numbers. There are enough people that will buy any DLC that there will always be a market for it. Beautiful. And there will always be money to be made by doing that, and so it will continue to happen. Plus, with everything being delivered digitally now, Developers have the opportunity to fix things, whereas before they could not. If they sent something out broken, it stayed broken. Now they can send something out broken knowing they can fix it later, and so they sort of have that out. And that is, for us as consumers, I personally find that very, very frustrating. And I feel like as amazing as digital delivery is, right? You buy a game, and without leaving your house, you have it installed in 8 minutes. That's completely different than back in the day when you were waiting on a DVD to be delivered, GameFly or something, or going down to GameStop and buying a game. You see a game, you want it, and you have it truly within just a few minutes. And that's a great system, but it comes with risk, and the risk is that developers will, I don't want to say exploit it, optimize. It's a good business term. They'll optimize against it and leverage it. And we as consumers are sort of, what can we do? All right, so this scenario runs about 20 minutes, and you can see the route is, I don't want to say it's the same as every other German route, but one of the complaints that I saw straight away about this was, this looks like every other German route, and people that live in the area were saying this is completely generic scenery with a couple of landmarks thrown in to give it credibility. But I live there, and this ain't what it looks like. I don't live there, so I can't say for certain whether it is or not. But I do see some assets reused. I do see some models reused. Some of that we can expect because it does represent an area of the world where you would see, as you traveled from one place to another, you would see the same type or style of structures on this railroad. Now let's get stopped here. A little early on that one. There we go. But something that I've been noticing about Train Sim World for the last several DLC is the game is playing very fast. Right now we're at 75 FPS, and that's on ultra settings. So the game has been playing faster. And again, it's one of those trade-offs. It's something that we as consumers have to sort of weigh in our own mind and decide for ourselves, is this worth it or is it not worth it? And the fact that the game is running faster may be because they are reusing models and assets, right? And if that's the case, then what would you rather have? Unique and very individual scenery, or a game that loads and runs faster? I don't know. It's always a trade-off. It's true in gaming. It's true in life. What can you do? And let me see. I mean, I guess the takeaway would be, is it worth it? Is this DLC worth it? When it's bundled, when it's on sale, yeah, definitely it's worth it. It's a fun route. Oh, in fact, we got 6 kilometers. Let's get up to speed here, and then I'll show you the map itself, what it looks like. Try to get good speed here. Right about like so. Hopefully that'll be okay for a minute. We don't come back to a disaster. This is the route, and something that I'm noticing again in the newer DLC is there's a lot of this sort of thing. There's a lot more density in yards. We're okay on speed. There's a lot more density of track in yards, and there's a lot more moving around. Again, I think that can be attributed to the fact that the developers have found a way to continue to optimize the game, so they're able to fit more stuff in the game, in a DLC, on screen at the same time. They're able to just get more in there without a massive frames per second compromise. And I think they're definitely making the most of that. And credit where credit is due. I'm not a huge fan of Dovetail, but I do like the franchise. I do like the game. And anything that they can do to make it look better and play faster, like I said, I'll take it. I'll take it. So there are passenger services in this DLC. There are freight services. The freight services do use locos that we already have. And I believe there are a couple German add-on freight locos that I have that will work within this DLC. So when I fire this up and go to timetable, there are quite a few locos for me to choose from. There are the two new ones that come with this route. I believe there are 2 other passenger locos from other routes, and there are freight locos from other routes, and then there are the add-on freight locos. I think I said that right. And the way that Train Sim World is being sold now, there is a German route in base game. As it's evolved, right? The game that started as CSX Heavy Haul, there was only a single route. But I believe now if you just buy regular Train Sim World 2020, slow down a little bit here. If you just buy regular Train Sim World 2020, it comes with a German route. And so there are some German locos, both freight and passenger, included in base game. So yeah, you'll have those in this DLC as well as the 2 new ones. So yeah, is it worth it? Yes, I say that reluctantly. At full price, probably not. Probably not. But when it goes on sale or when they bundle it in, then yeah, definitely it is. And we're going to get slowed down here. There we are. And as I said when I started the video, by bringing in CIFA and PZB and AFB, I've really made the game a lot more challenging for myself. I got in the habit, we're playing in sort of a very simplified mode right now. We're doing that because we're in a scenario, but I'll do a video where we play in that more restrictive, more kind of simulation based instead of, this would be arcade maybe. This is arcade style, but we can play in more of a simulation style. And it is not, it's not as simple as just getting the train up to speed and working the throttle and brakes. There are a lot of other interventions and things that need to occur that they definitely make the game harder, but very, very satisfying when you get it right, which happens occasionally. I sometimes get it right, but it's a handful, man. Hang on, I'm going to have a sip of the coffee. With my stainless steel straw. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh, there is going to be a new switching loco for the German routes to be released at some point in the future. It's just been announced. There's no date for it yet. And we'll see how many routes that fits into. I would assume all of them. I would hope all of them. Because there is so much overlap with the locos and rolling stock. All right, and this next stop is only about a half a mile away. So let's get there as quickly as we can. Yeah, and we're just leaving here. We left here at 6:02 and 58 seconds, and we're supposed to be at our next stop at 6:03. So we're behind schedule, but I believe when we look at our timing sheet at the end of this, I believe as long as you're within a minute, you get credit for being on time. All right. This reminds me of the Rapid Transit DLC, with the stops being so close together. All right. Oh, there it is. I can barely see with this fog. All right, here we go. I would not have thought, before I really got into this game, I would not have thought that I could feel the difference in handling between different types of locomotives. But you really can. They all handle a little bit differently. And these are all in the same style. All these, let's pivot out here, and we are going to bounce around these. Yeah, anytime you come between something, and anytime something comes between you and whatever it is that you're looking at, you do get that camera bounce. I apologize. But all of these commuter rail style locos and train sets, they're all the controls are really similar. The handling is really similar. But then as you get into the newer and older freight locos and just all of it, they all have different brake systems and different, the panels are different, everything is different. So it's switching from one to another. As long as it's one of these commuter style, passenger style electrics, I'm okay with that. But when you hop in some of the freight locos, you have to look around for things, and different brakes from different eras work in different ways. I do find it fascinating. And as much of a nerd as I am about trains, my interest in them is probably like 20%, 10% of what someone who is really into this stuff knows about these trains. I found, as I was trying to understand that PZB system, I found some documents that someone had created, and they're available, I guess, on their Google Drive. They've made them publicly available, but it's an explanation of the entire German rail signage system. And it is, the system itself is, I'm guessing, very well thought out, like the real system in real life. Very well thought out, very efficient. But their explanation of it is like college level reading material. And the time that they put into all this is, it's really impressive to see that somebody would do that. And it's also amazing to me that someone has that kind of an interest. I mean, they could be a German train driver for all I know, and it's simply part of their job, and they could rattle those details off all day, no effort, because it's what they do. But it struck me more as a kind of a labor of love thing. So that when I see something like that, I think, yeah, that's an actual rail fan. I'm just kind of a casual rail fan, but that's someone who really, really like lives and breathes for this stuff. And slow down just a little bit more. All right, down to 40. All right. I get quiet when I'm concentrating, you know that? Or if you don't know that, you just found it out. I get very quiet when I'm concentrating. And believe it or not, this actually requires quite a bit of concentration. And this is the end of the line, so we definitely want to stop here. Don't want to overshoot this one. Right, doors open. And in anticipation of this being the end of the video, I'm going to get this screen back open again so I can say it again when we wrap things up. Yeah, this, you know what? No, it's staying here. I was thinking we could hop out on the platform, but I'm worried if we do that, it won't let the scenario finish. So we'll wait in here and call it. Done. Let's see how I performed. All right. Let's see that. There we go. All right. Only 2 minor speeding violations. 57, 52, 54. We were a minute late there. Yep, we were a minute late at 4 of our stops, but we did earn a gold medal. Good for us. Folks, thanks for stopping back to check out The Portable Gamer. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Train Sim World 2020. This is the Hauptstrecke Rhein-Ruhr Duisburg Bochum Route add-on DLC. See you next time. Take care now.